thumbs up that we're streaming. For tonight, the 20th of October 2025, opening the meeting tonight at 7:01. On behalf of the City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners and the land in which we meet and pay our respects to elders past and present. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and streamed live on the Council's website in accordance with the City's public participation in Council meeting policy, which can be viewed on Council's website. All reasonable care is taken to maintain your privacy. However, as a visitor in the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. By remaining in the public gallery, it's assumed your consent is given if your image is broadcast. The recommendations contained in the agenda are officers' recommendations only and should not be acted upon until Council has resolved to adopt those recommendations. The resolutions of Council should be confirmed by perusing the minutes of the Council meeting at which these recommendations were considered. Members of the public should also note that they act at their own risk if they enact any resolution prior to receiving official written notification of Council's decision. The purpose of an agenda briefing session is for councillors to ask questions and to obtain additional information in respect to the items presented on the ordinary Council meeting agenda. Questions asked by councillors are to be answered by the CEO or a person nominated by the CEO and/or person presiding. No decisions are made at agenda briefing sessions and there's no statements to be made, no debate on items conducted. It is a question session. In attendance this evening we have Deputy Mayor Terence Winner, Councillor Bodica, Councillor Della, Councillor Johnson, Councillor O'Donnell, Councillor Viskovich, Councillor House and Councillor Walker-Dunstan. Also joining us this evening are our members of staff in CEO Andrew Bryan, Director of Governance and Organisational Strategy Francis Liston, Mia Hicks, Director of Advocacy and Strategy, Gian Rumbold, who's the Director of Finance, People and Culture, Adam Streamline, our Director of City and Community, Cass Yeager, the Director of Corporate and Commercial, Louis Camporelli, Director of Engineering, assisted this evening by Susie Beamish, our Coordinator of Governance, Ella Boromai, our acting Executive Assistant to the CEO, Jamie Boys, our Governance Officer, and also we have Kobe joining us from our marketing team tonight. There are no visitors in the gallery and no press. We don't have any apologies. We are all present, no leave of absence. And at this point in time, we have no notations of interest. You still have until next Monday night, councillors, to get that. We will start off with our reports of committees and we'll ask our Director of Finance, People and Culture to come forward with item 14.1, the Audit Risk Improvement Committee Minutes from the 28th of August 2025. This item 14.11 is the year-to-date dashboards as at the 30th of June 2025. It is a little while ago, councillors, but obviously this is our first meeting that we're able to have this conducted. Director, if you'd like to make your way forward to the podium, please, for item 14.11. Yes, Councillor Viskovich.
Just with the agenda this evening, do we need the attachments this evening specifically, or can we send through questions at a later date, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. Good question. Councillors, if you do have further questions that are not able to be put through tonight, please send it through under the EM request process at this point in time and we'll get those answered in that fashion. You will receive that update to your inboxes by the end of the week generally, depending on time. Thank you. Director, over to you.
The first item, to the Mayor, this report presents prepared dashboard that detail the city's progress at 30th June 2025. The purpose of providing this dashboard is to provide oversight to the committee on the progress year-to-date spent against budget, as well as present statistics relevant to each of the city's directorate at a point in time.
Thank you, Director. Any questions, councillors? Councillor O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Some of these questions could be obsolete in that it's 3 months old, this. So,
yes.
It's got there on the dashboard, the roundabout, Wilson and McDonald Street. It's got regarding the tender declined. Is that because the tenders were way overpriced, or is there another reason why it didn't go through?
I believe that is the case, councillor. I'll direct your question to the Director of Engineering on that item as it was under his dashboard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through yourself. The first tender was declined due to pricing, and the second tender has gone out and being reviewed, and that'll come to the next OCM in November.
Any follow-up question, Councillor O'Donnell?
Thank you. As I said, if my questions could be obsolete by now. We've got footpaths were budgeted at 7.8 million and we spent 2 million less. Did we get all the footpaths done and we didn't need to spend that money, or we couldn't get contractors to do the work? Yeah, I'm just clarifying that 2 million difference.
Thank you. Back to the Director of Engineering to answer that.
That is correct. So we couldn't get all the work completed in the last financial year.
Thank you. Any further questions, Councillor O'Donnell? No.
Thank you.
Councillors, any further questions? No. Thank you, Director, for the presentation. Item 14.1.2, Emerging Local Government Risks. Director of Governance and Organisation or Strategy is Francis Liston, who will also address the next two items for you as well. Over to you, Director.
Thank you. Through the Mayor. This report was provided to the Audit and Risk Committee just for the information of those committee members and for Council. It provides an overview of some of the emerging risks that do impact local government and also some context of some of these risks in the Kalgoorlie-Boulder atmosphere.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? No. Thank you. Item 14.1.3, Notification of Non-Compliance, Director.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, this report provides Council with some information in relation to some non-compliances that were identified through internal process.
Councillors, any questions? No. Thank you, Director. Item 14.1.4, the Internal Audit Progress Update Delegated Authority Review.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, during the March Audit and Risk Committee meeting, the committee provided some feedback in relation to internal audit based on recommendations from officers. This was one of the areas that a review has been completed over the last couple of months. This particular report provided an update with progress at that point in time.
Thank you, Director. Any questions? No. Thank you. Item 14.1.5, tenders awarded under delegation April to June 2025. Director of Finance, People and Culture, Gian Rumbold, is back. And I might, just to save going up and coming back again, Director, I might get you to skip over also to item 14.1.8, if that's possible, just for fluidity purposes. So if you'd like to cover off 14.1.5 first, please.
Through to the Mayor, the committee is asked to receive the summary of the tenders awarded under delegated authority given to the Chief Executive Officer. This is the list of all the summary of tenders awarded.
Any questions, councillors? Councillor House. Microphone, please.
Do I need to stand? The CEO is authorised to accept the tender that is most advantageous to the city with a $1 million limit. Is the CEO's purchasing delegation? What is that?
Mr. CEO.
Yeah, thank you. Through the Mayor, it depends on what we're procuring, whether it's through a Wagga preferred supplier panel or whether it's a straight tender. So there's different values based on each of those. Off the top of the head, I can't recall the total values, but certainly take that on notice and provide a response.
Thank you.
Supplementary.
Councillor House.
Just confirming that the CEO has delegated authority to expend $1 million without council approval. Is that what we're saying?
Mr. CEO.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, no, that's incorrect.
Help me clarify.
Mr. CEO.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, anything that's approved through the council budget. So, for example, even payroll, I do have the authority to spend those money. When we go out to specific tenders, depending on the value, if I go through the Wagga preferred supplier panel, I can go up to 750,000. There are some exempt provisions where, example, fuels, oils, etc., and government enterprises which exceed that, which I'm authorised to incur as well. But I can't authorise anything that's not currently in the budget.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Thank you, Councillor House. No further questions, councillors? Apologies, we will skip forward just for fluidity again. 1418 is where we'll head to and then come back, and that is purchasing policy exemptions from April 2025 to June 2025. Director of Finance, People and Culture, while we've still got him.
To the Mayor, this report provides the Audit and Risk Committee information in relation to purchases orders that have been deemed exempt as per the city's purchasing policy, which outlines the requirements and the decision-making processes for each policy threshold. The committee is asked to receive and note purchases made by the city that were exempted from the requirements of the purchasing policy during the period of April 2025 to June 2025.
Thank you, Director. Any questions, councillors? No? Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
With no further items under that particular item, 14.1, I'll refer back to 14.16, which is the asset management plan from our Director of Engineering, Louis Camporelli.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through yourself. So the committee is asked to receive an update on the city's progress in relation to the internal audit project relating to the city's asset management framework.
Thank you, Director. Councillors, questions? No? Thank you, Director. Item 14.17 is a cyber security update from our Director of Corporate and Commercial, Cash Yeager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, this report provides an update on the city's ongoing efforts to enhance our cybersecurity. It outlines our achievement of maturity level 1 under the Essential 8 cybersecurity framework by 30 June 2025, the outcomes of a phishing awareness campaign that was conducted in June 2025, and a summary of the top 10 ICT risks which are identified and monitored by the city's ICT team.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? No? Thank you, Director. That rounds out our items from the Audit and Risk meeting. 15.1, there are no items from the CEO. 15.2, Governance and Organisational Strategy. Director of Governance and Organisational Strategies, Francis Liston, who's back with us. The Elected Member Code of Conduct and Elected Member Handbook for a Respectful Workplace is item 15.2.1.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, this report provides both of these documents through for, I suppose, re-endorsement by Council. The Code of Conduct has been reviewed against the current regulations and there's no changes to either the regulations or the code recommended. There are a couple of small changes recommended in relation to the policy position under the handbook, which is set out in the resolution as well as the recommendations.
Thank you, Director. Councillors, any questions? Councillor Bodica.
Thank you. When it talks about on page 51, the Code of Conduct for Council members, committee members and candidates, in what way do candidates who are running for a local government election have to abide by the Code of Conduct? Through the Mayor too, Mrs Liston.
Director.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, the Code of Conduct does apply to candidates during that period of time.
So if there was a
Sorry,
breach...
Councillor Bodica, you got another question?
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry, yes, supplementary. So if there was a breach by one of those candidates in terms of behaviour through the election, they could be dealt with under the Code of Conduct. Is that what you're saying? Can I just clarify that?
Thank you. Through the Mayor, the Code of Conduct provides the process that needs to be followed if there has been an allegation of breach, and what ends up ultimately happening is that the breach can be dealt with if a candidate becomes an elected member.
So just clarifying that, only if that councillor is elected.
Correct. Yes, that's right. Councillor House.
Thank you, Francis. Can any of the candidates, councillors, whomever, be fined or be a term of imprisonment for breaching the Code of Conduct?
Thank you, Councillor House.
The Code of Conduct sets out a couple of different avenues by which a breach will be treated. There's also a number of different processes where a breach could be found to incur a fine or an imprisonment sentence, a term of imprisonment.
What will put me in jail for a Code of Conduct breach? As an example, I know that's a hypothetical, but I presume there is some type of criteria or some level of risk or assessment that deems it as being a jailable offence?
Director?
Thank you. Through the Mayor, the Code of Conduct in itself doesn't create the offences which would give rise to an imprisonment term or a fine. The breaches fall under the Local Government Act, where they are going to attract that kind of penalty.
Thank you, Director. Item 15.2.2 is the Council Committees for 2025 to 2027. Over to you, Director.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, this report provides a status update in relation to the current committees of council, all of which had membership declared vacant as a result of the local government election on the 18th of October. The report provides some recommendations in relation to the future of a couple of those committees, those being the CEO Performance Review Committee and the Strategic and General Purpose Committee, with the recommendation that these both be disbanded. And the end result of that would be that any reports previously put through to committee would be instead just put straight through to council. It's recommended that the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee be updated just to reflect some recommendations both from officers and also from the independent chair, just in relation to the membership numbers. And then beyond that, the report outlines the committees for which council are requested to make appointments for membership.
Thank you, Director. Any questions, councillors? Councillor O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just in relation to the disband the CEO review, that normally would go through the committee and then forward on to the city. You're saying it will come to the council. Who brings it to the council?
The reports, instead of going through a committee, would come direct to council as opposed to going through the committee in that instance. So it'll be a whole of council decision as opposed to a committee that was previously in place. The committee had no delegated authority anyway, apart from to meet and to recommend to council and recommendation. You sure can, Councillor House.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The disbanding of the subcommittee for the performance review. Where did this idea come from? And if it's not mandatory, there's no delegation, as you've pointed out, why did we do it in the first place? And why are we disbanding it now?
Thank you, Councillor House. Previously, it's historical that we've had a CEO committee meeting. I believe there might have been a legislation change to highlight what committees were under legislation, such as the audit and risk, and it was the previous thirst, or the thirst of previous council, to look at the numbers that we have around the table versus those who could attend, and to include as many people as possible in that process, as opposed to having just 3 people on that particular committee. Director, is there anything further to add?
Thank you. No, through the Mayor. The reason that we have proposed to disband it is essentially twofold. One is because there was only 3 members of that committee, and frequently at least one of those members couldn't attend, and so there was a lack of continuity on the committee if there was a deputy stepping in. The other reason is that committee has historically met during the day, and we've received feedback from elected members that that's quite difficult for council. Essentially, too, the CEO performance review and those functions of committee are an interest to all councillors, so this allows all councillors to hear firsthand the feedback rather than via committee.
Thank you. Councillor House.
Through the chair to the officer, are you saying that the previous council made a resolution to form a subcommittee to undertake a performance review? It nominated 3 councillors, and we're making a decision to disband that group because one of those nominated councillors didn't turn up?
The previous council endorsed the previous CEO committee as per what council are doing for this particular agenda on the first meeting, or close to the first meeting previously. So yes, council endorsed a committee previously. The disbanding of that, though, comes with this particular resolution. If there is a thirst to change that particular resolution, you still have time to change that until next week's meeting if you provide an alternative motion. So that is the officer recommendation at this point in time, and that can be adjusted. Director, was there anything further?
Thank you. Through the Mayor, all of the memberships are vacated as a result of the local government election, And one of the provisions in the terms of reference for each of our committees is that we undertake a review of the value of committees at that point in time. So the assessment of value at this point in time by officers is that the value is not there or as strong as what it could be under this recommendation. But certainly, Mr Mayor, as you said, if that's not the choice of council, then that's not the choice.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
So I just need to, I'm just a little bit confused because the subcommittee not required by law, we've formed the committee, okay, voluntarily. We've had 3 councillors voluntarily nominate for this group. So I'm presuming through that in itself that there was support for that process. Okay, so I'm just struggling to understand the justification to disband that, because if I'm looking around the table, the majority of those councillors are still sitting here. So I'd like to really understand, why would we agree on, what, a couple of months ago? When was the resolution? Irrelevant. It would have been recently. It doesn't make any sense logistically why you would disband that group. And I'll table this now, is that's not something that I'll be supporting. And I think there is some advantage to that.
Thank you, Councillor House. There's no debate or enter into whether or not you support or don't support. It's purely a question processed this evening. Mr CEO, if you wanted to add.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. The decision to establish the CEO Performance Review Committee was made straight after the last election, so it was 2 years ago. There was 3 members identified to go on that, the Mayor and 2 other councillors. It is to be reviewed after every election. It's a decision of council whether they continue it or not. The officer's recommendation is not required, so that the full council could make a determination rather than 3 members.
And further to that, it's historically been so. It was questioned as to why we still need it moving forward into the future. And there's an opportunity here that the officers have seen, if we don't require it, if it's not an essential one, to disband and have all of council included in that position. Thank you, Mr House. Director?
Hang on, so you're saying the officers decided this?
Negative. No,
You just said that. Sorry, Mr Mayor, that's what you just said. The officers decided.
My words, thank you, Councillor House, were that the officers recommended this. They have not decided that. Council will decide that next week if that is the course. Councillor O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Under the officer recommendation, we've got vacancies for to fill various committees and that coming up. That'll all be done next week. Are we asking, because we have 2 new representatives, have a think and look at what they want to do, and especially to all the others, and hopefully people will put their hand up for 2. The other one there was number 5, the liquor record. Are we going to run with the councillor going to that or not?
I must point out that that needs to be added into the officer recommendation, that Councillor O'Donnell was the member of the liquor record, or is endorsed by the liquor record, so we may need to review that particular piece. But yes, if councillors, if you have a thirst to attend any of those or to be part of any of those particular committees, please send an email, or there's the resolution next week for your name to be added as well. So there's still a week for that to take place. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just clarifying a bit further on Councillor O'Donnell's question, the recommended nomination process for committees and working groups would be through to email to the CEO?
At this point in time, yes.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. My second question is, through yourself to the Director, are there any restrictions on adjusting the numbers on any of the committees or working groups?
Director.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, I'm going to attempt to answer that with what I can. The liquor record, I'm not entirely sure on top of my head, but Mr Wilson, Mayor Wilson, you might know the answer to that one. GVROC, the restrictions are set out in the terms of reference for GVROC, so the positions that are there in the resolution, being the 4 positions, are restricted, 2 of those being deputy and 2 of those being permanent roles for that membership period. The DAP panel has a fixed number, 2 positions and 2 deputies. My understanding is that the Visitor Centre do just want 1 member and 1 deputy, but Councillor or Deputy Mayor Winner, you may be able to clarify from your knowledge in relation to that. The Regional Road Group, I couldn't tell you on top of my head, but the Museum of the Goldfields has requested 1. Oh, sorry, thank you, Andrew. Regional Road Group is one member and then one deputy appointment.
Follow-up, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for that answer, Director. The only other one I wasn't sure on that I did notice, and I may have missed it, so please forgive me, we're not including Youth Council on the list?
Thank you. Through the Mayor, that's not a committee any longer, and so I haven't put it down as a committee appointment. But yes, probably Council should make that determination in relation to the working group appointment. So yes, I'll add that into the resolution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any further questions? Thank you, Director. 2026 Council meeting schedule, 15.23.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, Council's presented with two different options. Council may come up with an alternative model of its own in relation to the 2026 meeting schedule. Option one being to continue the same format that we have run over the course of 2025. Option two being to look at a fortnightly ordinary council meeting schedule.
Thank you, Director. Councillor Viskovich.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just through the Director, could we possibly see an option to have the meetings moved to a Tuesday? I don't recall reading that on the...
That would be up to a council resolution for next week or an alternative motion if you wanted to put that forward for next week at this stage.
Thank you. Yes, it's not included as a consideration in this report.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just carrying on from Councillor Viskovich, this question. Director, is there any restrictions of city officers or council to move a council meeting or a agenda briefing to any other day of the week?
Thank you. Through the Mayor, no.
Thank you. Councillor O'Donnell.
Just curious, we're talking about changing things around. We have the all other meetings at 6 p.m. but the ordinary council at 7. Is there any reason we can't move that to 6 and have them all? No reason. Disregard.
Again, historical. You can change the time if you like. Make it 4 p.m. Make it 2 a.m.
Yep.
Whatever you
Yep.
like, you can
Yep.
change.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Donnell. Yeah. Question answered? No worries. Any further questions, councillors? No. Thank you, Director. Item 15.24, Governance Framework.
Thank you. Through the Mayor. The Governance Framework is a broad-ranging document that we developed about 3 years ago. I put it up through to Council as a review document on an annual basis, having undertaken a review across the organisation to make sure that it's still effective in terms of its needs, but also compliant with the legislation and regulatory requirements.
Thank you, Director. Any questions? Councillor O'Donnell?
I forgot to turn the page on my notebook and I had one question from that last one.
If you've got a question from your last one, you can put it in writing and send it through to the CEO.
Thank you.
Alternatively, you can
Senior's
ask after the end of the agenda briefing and get a bigger notepad. So no further questions on 15.24? No, thank you. 15.25, Corporate Performance Reporting. Mr. CEO, this is your report directed, put through to the Director of Governance and Organisational Strategy.
Thank you. Through the Mayor. Council's provided on a quarterly basis with a corporate performance report. This is in a new format compared to what has previously been provided to Council through the Strategic and General Purpose Committee. Attached to this report is our new Corporate Business Plan Action Report, which also provides quarterly service updates from each of our business units. In addition, the Major Project Summary Report is also now being facilitated through our online system, so the format of that report is also new to Council. Then the third attachment, which is actually attachment 2, I apologise, is the Performance Indicator Report. So when Council adopted the Corporate Business Plan in July of this year, part of that document included a range of proposed performance indicators that we would use to measure performance with some kind of metric basis. That's all just, it's a work in progress. This is the first report in that phase. There's a lot of work to be done now to start to collect data and work out what is useful in that space. But these are the first of this new format reports presented to Council.
Thank you, Director. Questions, councillors? Councillor House?
So that was on the...
Sorry, Councillor House. Again, Director.
Sorry.
This is Director Liston.
Director Liston, organisational performance indicator, is that what you're referring to there with those targets and whatnot?
Sorry, I didn't catch the end of what you just said.
The organisational performance indicator report, is that what you were referring to in terms of the targets and whatnot? I'm just trying to keep up with where we're at, for one, but I'm interested in those targets that you mentioned. And I may have just fell asleep momentarily, but can you just repeat what you were saying about the targets, please?
Certainly, through the Mayor. When the corporate business plan was adopted by Council in July, the back appendix to that document sets out some proposed performance indicators based on it was a proposal based on some of the metrics that we could use to measure our delivery against both the corporate business plan and also the strategic priority areas set out in the strategic community plan. So this report is a report in relation to some of those particular data pieces that the corporate business plan indicated we'd report on. It's not all of them reported against at this stage.
Oh, yeah, of course not. Sorry, supplementary.
Go ahead.
So I know we maybe can explore this another way, maybe with a meeting with the CEO to get some clarification around this, but this is just the sticking point in my mind, and it could be just a terminology thing. Those targets that have been created are benchmarked off some industry standard, or is it a benchmark or a target that we've created or generated ourselves from our own data sets?
Director?
Thank you. Through the Mayor, I'd have to have another look at the corporate business plan report. I don't think we've actually set out targets in there. It's more the metrics against which we're going to start to measure. But it was not possible for us to create targets. I don't think there will be any included in that report.
Thank you, Director. Any further questions? Nope. Thank you. Item 15, and thank you, Director. 15.3, Finance, People and Culture. 15.3.1, the Accounts Payable Report for September 2025. And we welcome back Gian Rumbold, our Director of Finance, People and Culture.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the Mayor. The CEO has been delegated the power to make payments from the municipal and trust funds in accordance with budget allocations. The city provides payment facilities to suppliers either by check, electronic funds transfer EFT, direct debit, credit card, or fuel card. Attached to this report are the list of all EFT and check payments made during the month of September 2025 and a list of all corporate credit card transactions and fuel card transactions by cardholder of the same period totaling to 18,302,910.87. The Council is asked to receive the list of payments made from the municipal and trust funds, including a summary report of the corporate credit card transactions and other purchasing cards incurred by authorized card holders.
Thank you, Director. Any questions, councillors? Just one from me, Director. It's an unusually larger number than what we have previously. Normally we hover somewhere between 8 to 12 million in payments. Is there any reason why we're at $18,302,910.87?
What do you call it? This is just a list of transactions, and it's not on comparing to other periods. But we have made some massive payments from our capital projects this September period. That's the main.
Thank you. Councillor House?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, just clarifying the Mayor's question was pretty specific about the budget and whether the salaries have increased, and that's, you don't need any historical data.
Sorry, Councillor House, my question wasn't that. You've taken that the wrong way. It was purely the number of what has been out of our accounts payable report.
Not employee.
Not employee matters. That's purely the what we've paid in terms of payments that we need to pay, and the Director explained that there was due to capital works programs, which are normally quite large.
Can I clarify with you? So you're saying the discrepancy usually is X, and you're saying the discrepancy is potentially what?
It's just it's normally we have a number that starts with one or one digit at the start. This one, in terms of million, this one is up to 18 million. But example that the reason that he gave is quite apt, considering that we're having capital. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Director.
Yep.
Sorry, Deputy Mayor, do you have something? Item 15.3.2, Statement of Financial Activity, August 2025.
To the Mayor, in accordance with the Regulation 34 of the Local Government Financial Management Regulation of 1996, the city is to prepare a monthly statement of financial activity for approval by Council. Attached is a complete statement of financial activity for the period ending 31st of August 2025. The Statement of Financial Activity provides elected members with a high-level oversight of operating and capital revenues and expenditures. It is also intended to link operating results with balance sheet items and reconcile with the end-of-month balances. In accordance with the regulation, a report must compiled on variances greater than the percentage agreed by Council, which is currently plus or minus 10%, or 100,000, whichever is greater. The Council is asked to receive the August 2025 monthly Statement of Financial Activity.
Thank you, Director. Questions, councillors? No? Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just through the Mayor to the Director, I noticed our income continues to be under budget expectation. Is this a timing matter, or is this something that Council should be reviewing a bit further? If it helps, it's on page 77. It states income is under budget by 0.13% for the period 1st of July 2025 to 31st of August.
Sorry, what line item?
Page 77. And regards to the income being under budget by 0.13% for this period, as it was for the previous period. More than happy for it to be taken on notice as well.
No. I'm just, because there are two line items. Are you talking about the grants, subscription, and contributions? Or?
So the total income
The total.
as a complete. I just needed a confirmation or some more information on if this is a timing related matter where it was previously. I'm obviously just concerned this is the second report that we've had come through, which continues to show that it's not up to where we budgeted.
It's mainly timing matter.
Thank you, Director. No further questions. Item... That's all for Finance, People and Culture. Thank you. Item 15.5, Corporate and Commercial. We have a commercial lease renewal for Budget Australia. Cass Yeager is our Director of Corporate and Commercial. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you. The purpose of this report is for Council to consider a lease request for budget hire car rental at the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Airport. Budget has had a lease at the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Airport since 2003, and a new 5-year lease is proposed. The applicant and the city have agreed to a 5-year lease, and this is consistent with their previous lease term as well. Following independent valuation, the applicant and the city have agreed to a rental figure of $40,000 per year, excluding GST. Noting that the lease is land only and it doesn't include the building on site, the total leasable area of 2,000 square metres equates to $20 per square metre. The lease will be subject to consent from the Federal Minister for Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development and Local Government due to federal legislation relating to airports. And finally, public consultation has not yet been undertaken due to the elections caretaker period. In accordance with the requirements under Section 3.58 of the Local Government Act, it's recommended that Council approve the lease subject to no submissions being received during public consultation. Should any submissions be received, the matter will be referred back to Council.
Thank you, Director. Councillors, questions? Councillor House? Microphone, please.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. The commercial lease and the consultation, or the process. I'm just wondering, is that process required to go to an open market in order for that, because it's a commercial lease? Is there some type of trigger that enables that current leaseholder to roll over or to negotiate without that process? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Director.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So this lease has ended, so it will be a new lease. So under the requirements of the Act, when it's a new lease, we have to go out to public consultation. So it's not an option period. It'll be a brand new lease, which follows that process under the Act.
Thank you, Councillor House. Go ahead.
Sorry, didn't we say we didn't do consultation? Because it's caretaker period. And I'm just want to clarify, am I looking in here that this is a proposed lease for budget rental. Is that right?
Correct?
So I'm just wanting to get clarification here. So the process, as I understand it, is the commercial lease would have to go to an open market process. It essentially can't go back to that same party and say, hey, do you want to do another deal? I understand the process to be that if that lease were to end, there would be basically it goes back up to the market. Now, high probability that the current leaseholder would retain that lease because, as pointed out by the officer, they have infrastructure on that site. So I guess my question comes back to, and this could be a point of clarification, I could be wrong, I don't do property in that stuff, but my question is there a requirement to go to open market for a commercial lease? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Director.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there is a provision in the Local Government Act. If it's okay, I'll take that on notice to get that specific provision.
Sure.
Have that
Thank
off the
you.
top of my head.
Thank you. We'll take that on notice. Councillor O'Donnell.
Just a query. Surely we wouldn't go to public or open to other people to tender it when somebody's got a business there. No one would want to rent from us if every time their lease expires, it's open to anybody else to come in.
I think you'll find the Director may answer that under the Act provisions back to Council. Sorry to speak for you, Director.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, that's correct. So we do undertake public consultation for those lease requests, and it's for council. Sometimes lessees might like to renew their lease or they've decided their lease is at an end. So we deal with each one individually on each matter.
Thank you. No further questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just two questions through to the Director. The first one is, given that Council's expected completion of our Airport Master Plan and Strategic Plan is imminent, would the approving of this lease renewal for the duration proposed have any potential to create any complications or conflicts of interest for Council moving forward, particularly around location?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we have factored that in. So this particular lease is for the land at the back of the airport where the cars are, and we will have a provision in there so that if there was a change, we'd be able to negotiate that with the tenant. In terms of the terminal, it's not close to the terminal. It's a separate piece of land, but we have factored that in.
Thank you, Director. I was more relating to the car parking component, some of the plans that came through.
And we are factoring that in as well with the car parking. So any changes at the airport, we would have provision for us to talk with the tenants.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Ms. Mayor. Second question for me. Thank you. The second question is, in the event that the lease was to be cancelled during the lease period or not approved by Council, can the Director confirm that the lease document contains, both the existing and future one, contains an updated make good clause?
I would have to go back and check. I can take that on notice for you. Yeah.
Thank you, Director. Councillor House.
Just on the airport and the master plan, how does this lease align with the master plan, and I guess does it more broadly, probably out of scope a little bit, but how does the master plan address parking and hire companies in general? Thank you.
Director.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So we're currently reviewing the future terminal options for the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Airport. Part of that is looking at the feasibility of the growth at the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Airport. We are factoring in the current car rentals that we have and also any potential growth as well. We are looking at the terminal separately from the car parking layout for immediate solutions in that space. So we have factored in that there may be more car rental interest in the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Airport at the moment. This is separate from the booths in the airport. At the moment, we have no extra space for the booths, but the land, there's more options, and we're factoring in, is there potentially other locations for car rental on that site? So it's being considered through all this.
Thank you, Director. No further questions, councillors? Thank you. Item 15.5.2 is commercial lease, Shop 272 Hannon Street, Market Arcade.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, this report is for Council to consider a lease request for Shop 272 Hannon Street in the Market Arcade. The lease proposal is to Supatra Morris, trading as Goldfields Thai Massage and Therapy. The business has occupied the Market Arcade on a short-term hire agreement since August to allow them to commence trading and confirm their interests prior to commencing a formal lease. The applicant and the city have mutually agreed to a 2-year lease term with 3 one-year options. A third-party valuation has been undertaken with a rental figure of $12,960 per annum, excluding GST, and outgoings of $3,272 excluding GST. With a total leasable area of 81 square metres, this equates to $240 per square metre. A 3-month rent-free period will be applicable to this lease proposal. As the applicant is a new business, the leasing and insurance team will work with the tenant and the finance department should any issues arise in relation to rental payments. And similar to the other report, public consultation has not yet commenced due to the elections caretaker period, so it's recommended that council approve the lease subject to no submissions being received during public consultation, and if any are received, it will be referred back to council.
Thank you, Director. Councillor O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, the rent sounds very reasonable. My query is regarding the rental rate of $240 per square metre. We have another property coming up in Hannon Street, and that's $170 per square metre. I know some places aren't going to be, will be dearer and more expensive, but I would have thought the Markets Arcade would probably be less than the main street. So my query is, how do you work out the price of square metre?
Thank you, Director.
Through you, Mr Mayor, it is undertaken through an independent valuation. With this particular property, it is already fit out. The previous tenant provided beauty services, so it's not an empty space. There is fit out already in there, which does form part of the valuation.
Thank you. Any further questions, councillors? Thank you. Item 15.5.3 is the commercial lease renewal at 304 Hannon Street.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Through you, the purpose of this report is for council to consider a lease renewal request for 304 Hannon Street to the Holman Family Trust Proprietary Limited as trustee for the Holman Family Trust, trading as Kalgoorlie News Agency. The applicant and the city have agreed to a 3-year lease term with 3 one-year options. The third-party valuation undertaken has provided a rental figure of $42,840 excluding GST per annum. With the total leasable area of 252 square metres, this equates to 170 per square metre. The 3-month rent-free period will be applicable to this lease. As the applicant is an existing tenant and there has not been any payment issues identified throughout the tenancy, a credit check was not considered necessary in this instance, and similar to before, public consultation has not been undertaken, but during the public consultation period, if any submissions are received, it will be referred back to council.
Thank you, Director. Councillors, any questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just through to the Director, I know we have fantastic incentives for new tenants to come through, in particular with the 3 months rent-free period. Do those same conditions extend to existing to encourage our existing tenants to remain in those spaces as well?
Through Mr Mayor, yes, that's correct. So it is a new lease, so the tenant will get another 3 months rent-free, which is an incentive to help them provide support to stay in the endowment block.
Supplementary, Mr Mayor.
Go ahead.
Thank you. To encourage longer-term leases, is there any greater incentives or other, it's all level playing field? So is it 3 months for 1 year, or is it a greater period if they're signing for 3 to 5 years?
Through you, Mr Mayor, it is just 3 months irrespective of the length of the period. We are working on a draft commercial leasing policy at the moment, which will provide some further information about those incentives that we offer.
Thank you. Councillor Viskovich.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just to the Director, I just wanted to clarify if the rent is inclusive of outgoings or there's outgoings on top.
Through you, Mr Mayor, the Hannon Street, the endowment block doesn't include outgoings. Those are all in the tenant's name. The Market Arcade is different. They're in our names, which is why it's included in the separate to the rental figure. So this is exclusive of outgoings.
No further questions. Thank you, Director. Item 15.5.4, expressions of interest, Goldfields Oasis professional rooms.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The purpose of this report is to seek council approval to proceed with public consultation for a lease at the Goldfields Oasis for the professional rooms following an expressions of interest process. The EOI advertised for a lease term of 2 years with 3 one-year options with an annual rental figure including outgoings of $6,800. The city received 2 responses which were assessed by a panel of city officers. It is recommended that council approve the city to proceed with public consultation for a lease to applicant B. That's it.
Thank you, Director. Any questions, councillors? Councillor House.
Director, confirming the lease arrangements for Oasis, is that under the same legislation as the airport lease arrangements? Thank you.
Through you, Mr Mayor, yes, it's the same. There is slightly different legislation to do with the aviation, so this will be under our usual leasing process.
Councillor House?
Did we undertake an expression of interest process for the airport as we have for the Oasis? Thank you.
Director?
Pardon me, was that, did we undertake?
Have we undertaken an expression of interest for the airport as we have done for the Oasis?
Through you, Mr Mayor, no.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just through the Director, given the expression of interest, having reviewed them, is there any restrictions on our site for either of those to be operating out of? Any licensing restrictions or any restrictions at all for the city to have either of those two expression of interest applicants operating out of the space?
Through you, Mr Mayor, none have been identified.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. Item 15.7, City and Community. 15.7.1, Telecommunications Infrastructure, Lot 300, number 164, Dwyer Street, South Boulder. I note in your agendas, councillors, it does say South Kalgoorlie, but I'll 99.99% sure it's South Boulder. Adam Streeling is our City and Community Director. Over to you, Mr. Streeling.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr Mayor. Council has asked to approve a development application for a mobile phone tower on a proposed 180 square metre site adjoining the ambient air quality monitoring station on Dwyer Street. The application is supported and signed by the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage, who have agreed that Amplitel Pty Ltd can have a lease over the site. Council previously endorsed the excision of the land parcel from the overall reserve for this proposed use. The proposed facility consists of a 30-metre high monopole with head frames extending 1.3 metres above the pole structure and an associated 8-metre square ground equipment shelter. The application was advertised and received 2 submissions, the responses of which are outlined in the report, and State Planning Policy 5.2, Telecommunications Infrastructure, seeks to balance the needs of infrastructure with the potential amenity impacts generally associated with this type of development. At the request of the City, the applicant has provided a visual impact assessment that demonstrates that the visual impacts of the proposal are acceptable within the overall setting and that the structure does not detrimentally impact the cultural heritage values of the Boulder Town Centre. As the facility will provide important coverage for the Telstra network in that part of the city, it's recommended that the application be approved with the conditions as proposed.
Thank you, Director. Any questions? Councillor O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It says it's a fenced compound of 120 square metres of a 180 square metre property. Looking at the pictures, and I noticed on a public consultation somebody made a comment about a footpath, blocking a footpath, and possibly won't. How far back from the perimeter will that tower be, and have they taken that into account?
Director?
Hang on, let me just see if I can answer that now, otherwise I will take it on notice. The setback is...
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. From what I understand, the submission did just confuse the location of the site in regards to the footpath, and we don't consider there are any impacts relevant to that submission.
Yes, thank you. I looked at the photos and it looked like it was practically over the thing. And then I looked twice at this and could not find that minimum setback. Found it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? No further questions. Thank you, Director. Item 15.7.2, additions and extensions to existing childcare premises, Lot 3397, number 20 Carrington Street in South Kalgoorlie. Councillors, I will be declaring a financial interest in this next week. Director.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr Mayor. Council has asked to approve the development of a 42 square metre activity room at the Kids on Carrington, located on the corner of Carrington Street and Oswald Street, through the conversion of an existing patio area, and also an increase in the number of children from 60 to 72 children. It's also proposed to increase the number of staff from 10 to 12. Public notification of the application resulted in 5 submissions being received in support of the application. 2 submissions did ask about traffic safety at the intersection generally. The local planning scheme requires 20 car parking bays be provided. 6 exist on street parallel bays available on Oswald Street at the front of the centre, and 7 bays are available on site, including an Acrod bay. And traditionally in that space, any additional parking has been accommodated through casual on-street parking in the area. The city's engineers have requested that this casual on-street parking arrangement be formalised due to the history of accidents in the area, and the opposite side of Oswald Street has been nominated as a suitable location, with a condition recommended for formalising these bays and also providing 7 bicycle bays on site. A traffic impact assessment provided with the application aligns with the information held by the city that confirms that predicted increase in traffic will only have minor impacts on local street environment, with movement vehicles of approximately 1,200 per day, well below the 3,000 vehicle movement per day capacity of the street. It's recommended that the application be approved with the conditions as proposed.
Thank you, Director. Councillor Bodica.
Thank you. Can I just clarify, sorry, through the Mayor, are you saying that the proposal should have 20 car parking bays, but it's only got 13? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and that's the proposal, is that the 7 additional bay requirement could be adequately considered by council to be provided on street parking, particularly made safer by formalising those bays at the cost of the applicant.
And so with those 2, submissions that you had that were actually opposing it, were they concerned about the street parking as well, or because will that be across people's driveways, or will there be adequate parking around that area if you're going to be missing 7 bays?
Through you, Mr Mayor. The submissions were all in favour of the application. 2 of those submissions in favour just expressed concerns about the general safety of that intersection and asked that council improve safety. Part of the response to that was to require that the current informal parking arrangements that already exist with the childcare centre are formalised through marked bays. This is considered to improve the safety of the street by creating a more organised parking environment.
So, sorry, once again, supplementary.
Councillor
Is that normal practice that we would be allowing a proposal like that to go ahead without adequate parking?
The report, sorry, through you, Mr Mayor, the report does detail that the historical approval for the childcare at this site is missing information on records as to why there were existing under provision of parking on site. So what we've determined to go by that's detailed in the report is that in looking at the reasonable activity of the site, the number of complaints that have or have not been received about the operation of the childcare centre is that the additional parking that occurs on site has been reasonably well managed, and we're just looking to formalise that further. Any move to restrict parking further would be difficult because council has previously approved a number of amendments to the approvals for this childcare centre. It'd be difficult for us to essentially make a decision in a way that restricts them from trading.
Yeah. Sorry, just one last one.
Yes, Councillor Whittaker.
And is that information will come from a traffic study that's been done within the area, certainly within the last 12 months or since they've put in for the proposal?
Yes.
How new and how relevant is that traffic study, please?
As to the detail of that last part of the question, I would need to take that on notice as to when the traffic study was particularly dated, but the submission did include a traffic study that indicated that the safety in there would be under the limits as a result of introducing this additional capacity at the centre.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bodica. Councillor House.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Good pickup, Councillor Bodica. I can't see anywhere where it's referring to cash in lieu for car parking provision. Is this something that should apply to this application? And if so, could you refer to that in the report, please? Thank you.
Director.
Yes, through you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, I can request a clarification be included or provide it through a response to the question by taking that on notice is probably a best mechanism for it. But essentially that's best advice I can provide at the moment is that's why we're requiring them to construct and undertake the full expense of designing and line marking the formal bays. So that would just be a consideration, but we can clarify that in a response.
Thank you, Director. Councillor House.
Just point of clarification, maybe a terminology thing. I just want to confirm, are you saying that we gave dispensation because they have to construct their own car parking bays? That's
Director.
my question.
Through you, Mr Mayor, that's the part I will take on notice and provide a clarified response.
Thank you. Councillor O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. With putting that Oswald Street's a side street, is the parallel parking bays to be straight outside that fenced area or between Carrington and the laneway? Sorry, I drive past it, so I know.
Thank you. We'll just get some clarification on where those locations will be.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, let me just password my timeout. I just need to look at the plan, thank you.
Sorry, my iPad, I can't go onto those reports, so I can't see it.
From what I understand, the parking was to the northeast of the laneway. I've just got to bring up the diagram. Maybe best I take that question on notice, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. There are some documents in the attachment, but we can take that on notice for you, Councillor.
Yeah, I
Go
think
ahead,
the information
Councillor.
is there, but
Yeah.
Supplementary.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And as I say, just reiterate, I can't get access on my iPad for that. The other thing is, where the 7 parallel parking bays are going to be, there already is parking for several cars between Carrington and the laneway. My question is, does the parking just not improve then? If you're going to put in 7 parallel bays, how many were there not before that comes in? How many can you fit in along there? Do you get what I get?
Yeah.
Are we just staying same, or are we adding more?
Thank you. Director?
through you, Mr. Mayor, yeah, it is essentially an improvement on the existing site conditions. So informal parking can occur in the area within our normal verge parking regulations. This just looks to formalise these to create a safer environment.
Councillor O'Donnell?
And has the applicant or are they required to do a traffic management plan? Because I do know that area can be very busy.
I think they've already done the study, Director, is that correct?
Yeah, in response to the earlier question, yeah, there is a traffic management study in the attachments.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just the one question from me, Director. Who would be responsible for the ongoing maintenance or costs associated with the proposed formalised parking bays?
I'll need to take that question on notice, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions, councillors? No, thank you, Director. Councillors, that is all part of our normal agenda. We do have a couple of items to discuss under confidential circumstances, as they'll be part of a confidential agenda for next week. We'll pause our broadcast and return once we hear further questions and presentations on that. glasses. They're not good. Council has been briefed on the confidential item as part of next week's agenda. Just before I close tonight's agenda briefing, I'd like to thank Jay Boys for her work with the governance team. I believe is taking now a internal change up. So Jay, thank you very much. You've assisted elected members both currently around the table and also previously, and we wish you all the very best luck in your new role. But we were not losing you, which is wonderful to see. So thank you, Jay. Councillors, that wraps up. I'd like to thank our staff at 8:07 for attending tonight to take those questions. And councillors, thank you very much. We have a small little presentation afterwards as we welcome in our new councillors. Thank you very much.